Hello Internet, 60x Self, and we're here this weekend to talk about a new video game. I'm just kidding, we're going to talk about Persona 5. Nothing, actually. I've been killing time with confidants, building up my personality, and changing hearts in mementos. Also not much. One of the things that can happen in Persona games, particularly later in the social link stories, is you have to spend time with that person to build up enough rapport to increase the rank. This is the reason it's so important to have the correct Arcana persona with you. The confidants required some quality time, and the mementos targets required some nights investigating to learn some names. I did hang out with Tyson Kami, but there wasn't a lot more progress. Honestly, she just complained about her new popularity as a doctor. It's been a pretty light story week so far. Oh, I got the job at the drag bar. Well, it's not a drag bar, it's a bar owned by a drag queen. It's far less interesting than I had hoped. And it's a real missed opportunity for a cool character. There's really not much there with the drag queen. I'm not even sure that they have a name. But let's be honest, one of my least favorite things about Persona games is the homophobia. So they probably would have just let me down anyway. But it's another place to boost a stat, and I can kind of choose which stat to boost by talking to the correct person at the bar, while also making some money. And I did hang out with Yusuke. We went on a boat ride so he could examine lovers. His hope was to better understand desire by looking at it from multiple perspectives. But instead he mistook two siblings on a boat ride as passionate lovers with lust in their eyes. And then the siblings mistook us for a gay couple. Oh, how hilarious. You know what? Let's talk about Persona's complicated relationship with sexuality. There's always a bit of a gays are funny bent to the writing, a lot of times centered around a bro character. Yosuke in Persona 4 and Ryuji in Persona 5. And it got worse in Persona 5. And by bro, I mean dudes who are uncomfortable with their masculinity and sexuality. Alright, Ryuji calls Mishima a girl at one point because he wants to eat crepes. Crepes are delicious. How stupid is that? Now, I understand these stories are about teenagers, and teenagers aren't the most progressive, kind bunch of people as a whole. But at least give us some sort of character turnaround by the end of the storyline. Some lesson learned. Yosuke learns nothing and is the same repressed homophobe by the end of Persona 4. The best you could say is that he at least gets comfortable expressing his feelings for and closeness with the Persona 4 protagonist. And so far there have been no hints that Ryuji is on any kind of redemptive arc. But there's still hope for Ryuji. We'll see how Persona 5 pans out. Persona 4 had a particularly difficult time handling the topic of sexuality with two characters, Naoto and Kanji, whose stories seem to be a struggle with transgenderism and homosexuality, respectively. Or maybe not homosexuality, maybe it's something else, bisexual, pansexual, demisexual, but something not heterosexual. And there are moments that could lead one to believe that they are telling a tale of a teenager struggling with a cisgendered heteronormative society, with Kanji and Naoto repeatedly teased about their mannerisms, their bodies, their personal interests, and sometimes forced to conform to their expected roles. There's a moment on a camping trip where Yosuke, again the bro, basically calls Kanji gay without actually saying the words, and Kanji, again in confusion about his feeling of being other, of not quite fitting into the norm, storms out of the tent to prove how much of a man he really is. And later Naoto is in a bathhouse scene with the other girls who basically force themselves on her and touch her skin and examine her body. It's a little weird. I know it's meant to be sexy. Not my thing. But in the end, the punch is pulled and it's a rather heteronormative conclusion. They simply had to accept that their personal interests are somewhat outside of the gender norm, but otherwise straight and cisgendered. Whew. Hell, in the new ending for Persona 4 Golden, the updated re-release on PlayStation Vita with new content and additional story, both of them outright reject their outsider and gender reversal appearances for more typical attire. No more of Kanji's bleached spiked hair and tank top with skulls on it. Now it's flat, natural hair and respectable clothes. No more does Naoto dress like a boy, hiding feminine curves and hair. Now it's typical teenage girl attire and jewelry. It's wasted potential, a tease for the audience about a story that could have gone deeper and had real revelations about a character that leads nowhere. And there's no reason I have to like every character in a game, every moment in a game, especially with such an ensemble cast. But it's not just the side stories. These are beats in the main storyline. Unmissable with these jokes. It's low-hanging fruit for one thing. It's just a bummer. And it is a relatively minor part of these games. These are 100-hour plus marathons of story and gameplay with some moments that I simply cannot condone. And I'm not even going to get into Teddy, who is hyper-masculinity personified. And I think it's no coincidence that he lives with Yosuke. Persona 4 is still my favorite game ever, and I am enjoying Persona 5 a lot. This is just an irksome bit. If you've played Persona 4, if you've played or are playing Persona 5, what do you think? Is it something you think Atlus is handling well? So if you want to see me continue to talk about Persona 5, subscribe, like this video, share it with everyone you know. Check out my channel, there's all kinds of stuff going up. I sing songs, I'm working on getting back into Let's Plays, I read short stories. There's a lot of stuff I'm doing on this channel. So I hope you're having a good time, I hope you're having a good life, and I hope your day or night is great. Bye, Internet.